Okay, let's try number 8. I'm saving number 6 for last because I think it's the worst one. So hopefully you'll start to feel more comfortable by the time you get to that last one. All right, so here we have a trapezoidal prism. And remember, we said for it to be a prism, it has to have all rectangular sides, and then it has to have identical bases. So what they've done is they've set it on one of those rectangular sides, but the bases, the identical parallel bases, are those two trapezoids, right? If we turned it on its side, it would look something like this. And then you would be able to see that these two bases, these trapezoids, are identical and parallel. All right, so let's draw the net for that. So what I'm going to do is essentially I'm going to slice along this top edge here, right, and slice the sides off here and open it up so that these 4 sides, the back trapezoid, the top, the front trapezoid, and the base rectangle here kind of all fall out in a row. So let me draw that, the back trapezoid. Then we've got, actually this is not the way I said it was going to do it, but then let's draw the base here, then let's draw the front trapezoid, and then let's draw the top that goes along with that, right? So these 4 sides are just kind of coming apart right there. And then along this, the rectangular base, I'm going to extend these 2 sides out here. So we've got this one, and we've got this one. Again, they're supposed to be identical. I did not leave enough room there for it, but just pretend that they are identical. Okay, let's fill in some measurements here. So we know that this right here is 11. That's this side right here. We know that this, which seems slightly insignificant at this moment, but it will be useful in just a second, that perp that we dropped from this corner right here down to that side is 4. Then we've got this side right here, which ends up here is 5. And then along the top here, we see that's a 3. That's right here. And then it tells us that this slant is 5. Now, I'm sorry, 7. Now, where does that 7 show up? It shows up also here, which ends up being this part right here. So that's going to be 7. This is going to be 5. This is going to be 7, 7, 7, 7. And then along here, this side right here matches with this 5 down at the bottom. So we're also going to have a 5 right here, a 3, a 5. And then along this edge, again, we're going to call that the same 3 that we had over here. So when we go to find the surface area, we actually have quite a few different things that we need to find. But let's do the things that are the same first. So the surface area is going to come from 2 trapezoids. So 2 trapezoids plus 2 identical sides right here that are rectangles. And then we're going to have 1 rectangular base. Sorry, I did not plan this out properly. 1 long rectangular base and 1 very short top of it. So 2 identical sides, if we want to think about that. This is a side and this is a side. This is the bottom. So let's put that there. This is the top right here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we count the sides, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so they're all accounted for. I'm going to save the trapezoid for last because that's the only thing that's not a rectangle. So let's go through and fill in these other things. So we're going to leave room for 2 trapezoids, whatever that is. All right, the 2 sides right here, those are rectangles, and they both use the formula length times width. The length is 5, the width is 7, or vice versa. All right, then we have 1 long base at the bottom right here. That is 5 by 11. And then we have this 1 tiny guy right here, which is 1 times 5 times 3. Again, you don't really need this, but I'm just doing it because we said how many we needed up there. If it's a 1, you do need it. If it's a 2, obviously. Okay, let's go and find the area of the trapezoid. So let me do this down here a little bit. So I believe we've talked about it this year. In fact, I'm almost positive. The area of a trapezoid is the average of the bases. So base 1 plus base 2 times the height, which is this part right here, times, well, actually the average of the bases, I just added them together, but the average of the bases has to have the 1/2 here. So either you can do base 1 plus base 2 and then divide that by 2, or you can write it over it like that. I'm just going to do the 1/2 outside. Okay, so then let's find the dimensions that need to go in this formula right here. So we've got area equals 1/2. The larger base, this one right here, is 11. The smaller one up at the top, again, let me move this picture down here. The smaller one up at the top is 3, so we're going to have 11 plus 3. And the height, again, that's where that somewhat insignificant looking 4 comes into play. It's not insignificant. Okay, 11 plus 3 is 14. So we've got half of 14 times 4. I'm going to take half of 14 and get 7 times 4, so that the area of our trapezoid is 28. And I'm going to bring that back up here into this formula. Again, if you want to do that all right here that we just did down here on the side, you can, but I'm just saving that just for all our information. Okay, 2 times 28 is 56. 5 times 7 is 35, times 2 is 70. 5 times 11 is 55. And then 5 times 3 is 15. All right, so then we do 56 and 70 is 79, 126 plus that's 70. And so we get an area of 196 yards squared. So there's no need to round this to the nearest hundredth because it's a nice whole number. Okay, hopefully that one seemed easier than the last, and then we'll get ready to do number 6.